What's up? Semen retention. A lustful woman will sense your energy instantly when you retain on semen retention, and you shouldn't get desperate whenever you start to retain. I think a lot of the times we hear semen retention, we get in the mindset of, you know, we can use this to find a girl, or it can help us attract a girl or whatever. But I think, just like it's hard to find a man that's sexually, you know, disciplined and he can control himself sexually. At the same time, it's just as hard to find a girl who can control herself sexually and stuff like that. I think we both genders have that problem, and so it's hard to find somebody that got full control over that. And I'm not a guy that's like, oh, I got all these expectations and standards. I'm just saying, because I know it's extremely hard to find a man, you know what I'm saying, that can control himself sexually. And I think the lustful girls, they more quick to look at you on semen retention than a girl that's you know what I'm saying, that's sexually disciplined, because the girl that's lustful, she looking to have sex, a lot or as many times as she want, just to feel, just to fulfill that carnal desire she got. Same thing with a man. So I just think when you start to retain or whatever, you know, don't get desperate, because we also hear about, a lot of times where a dude retain and he kind of start to heal, as far as like the girls, like the fives start looking like sevens, and you know how you hear be like, the twos start looking like fives, and the fives start looking like eights. So you start to become more attracted to girls in general when you get on semen retention, while at the same time maintaining like a discipline around it, where it's like you feel better about yourself, you feel more attractive, and you feel more attracted to girls. You know what I'm saying? Just in general. So it can make it a lot more frustrating if you just get really desperate, and the first girl that try to talk to you, you try to talk to her, because I know we live in a generation where it's like, hey, we know nobody ain't perfect though. Nobody is perfect, but at the same time, you don't want to choose nobody that's gonna bring you back to where you was. And so I think about that too. Like like if I get on some retention, and let's say I find a girlfriend or whatever, I don't want a girlfriend that's lustful. You get what I'm saying? I know sex is a part of, when you have a relationship with a girl, obviously, and I want that. But I think if I find a girl and she's lustful, you know what I'm saying? That's just gonna take me back to, me being lustful, because I got a girl that's lustful, and at the same time, if you got a girl that's lustful, she 9 times out of 10 ain't gonna be faithful to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even gonna be real. It's just gonna be, you was just sex to her. You know what I'm saying? And it can be brutal out here. So at the same time, man, it's best to keep your integrity and your morals, and uh just stay in control of the situation as much as you can, and stay in control of yourself as much as you can. I think nowadays we get in so many positions where we just go with it. And I think that's what a lot of men like. Even if the girl is unattractive to them, or the girl is not really what they looking for, because the man is so desperate. The man, you know what I'm saying, hasn't really talked to many girls in his life, or he's just constantly looking to get sex out of whoever he can, out of whatever female he can. And so it won't matter to him if the girl got standards. It won't matter to him if the girl, you know what I'm saying, is doing something with her life, or she care about certain things. He just wants sex, and then boom, it's like they don't care. They just have a relationship based off of nothing. Like they don't really like each other. They just do it just because they can have sex with each other, and they can not feel alone. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, nobody want to be alone. But I just think that, even with me, man, even, with my problems that I have, I think, and I don't want to keep making excuses for myself, because I'm definitely one of them guys that's gonna get back into, cold approaching and talking to girls and stuff, and I think that's gonna help me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna have a good intention around it, because, like I said, my intention not gonna be to just have sex with the girl and, dog the girl out or whatever. But at the same time, I'm not just gonna give free energy. I'm gonna be smart about it. I'm gonna make sure I don't get used or manipulated. But at the same time, I can still treat the girl with respect, and still go about it in a way where I can look for a person I want to be with long term. So I think that's just the healthy way to go about it, you know. But the world ain't perfect. People do stuff. I'm not saying try to find this perfect girl or whatever, because every girl, just like every man, we all got like a lustful side to us that we don't indulge in at one point or another. So, it ain't like I'm just looking for it ain't like any man should just be looking for no perfect girl, but at the same time, you gotta look for people that's gonna help you get forward, and you wanna also help that other person too. So when I think about that, man, because semen retention is not meant for you to just be on 1 million days of semen retention, unless you use that energy to create the life that you want, to get the success that you want. But bring it back to relationships, people. People matter too. You know what I'm saying? But you can just use it in outlet. You can use your sexual energy in ways where things is gonna be healthy. You get what I'm saying? When you're using it in dysfunctional ways like masturbation, and just a lot, and being super promiscuous, you sleeping with people you barely know, and everything was just based off of the physical aspect of it, and nothing was based off of do you actually like the person? Because I think what we see nowadays is just most people, they got with each other based off of what I'm saying, physical attraction, and like just they didn't really like the person. And yeah, man, I think this, as I get older, I'm just starting to understand that. I know I be saying that every time, like, as I get older, as I get older, as I get older. But yeah, I'm just starting to realize different stuff, bro. Like, I'm no longer gonna be the guy that if a girl like me, I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna be straight, like, clingy about it and just say, oh, I like you too, and like, just try to. I'm not gonna just go for the girl just because she like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just keep things smooth. I'm not gonna try to put pressure on somebody where make stuff super serious, but at the same time, you know, you be careful, and you scope stuff out. You be careful, and you don't move super fast when it comes to talking to a girl or whatever. And my intentions now is just to keep my keep controlling myself sexually, and just out, even just in every aspect, try to control myself. And so, and I think, we all obviously can't control, it's stuff out of our control, but we can still control how we react to stuff that's not in our control. So I think, yeah, man, like, that's pretty much all I got to say. Yeah. Peace out.